What's up, guys? It's Messed Up Swede. Right now I'm checking out a kind of documentary about Sweden right now. The Druglord who has turned Sweden upside down. And this guy's Holland Crime Boulevard. Go check out his channel. Go leave a like on the video. Yeah, man. Let's see what he's saying, man. This one's about the Kurdish fox, as they call him. If you're Swedish, you definitely know about him because he's all over the news all the time. But yeah, man, let's see what they're saying in this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the way to 1,000 subs, man. Help me get there. And yeah, let me know if you want more videos like this. I do enjoy watching like documentary type of videos. So yeah, man.
One of Europe's wealthiest nations, and was one of Europe's most peaceful nations.
Yeah, it used to be.
Emphasize was because times have changed drastically. As of late, Sweden has fallen to an unprecedented wave of violence. Over the entirety of 2022,
yeah, I do think people still see it as the like peaceful country, like nothing happens. But yeah, no, man.
to an unprecedented wave of violence. Over the entirety of 2022, there were 391 shootings recorded, and 2023 was not any different. The month of September 2023 alone saw 11 people become the victim of a fatal shooting.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you base it on like per capita and that stuff, yeah, I guess it's a lot. But yeah, man.
Sweden's Prime Minister has asked the military to step in as he is seeing no other option to bring back peace to his country. The cause of this all? Feuds between gangs battling for turf to sell their product on. And these aren't your usual gangs of men. These gangs recruit young boys in their teens, some as young as 13 years old, to carry out hits and grenade attacks. One man in particular has a strong hand in what is happening in Sweden right now, making him one of the most wanted men in Sweden. This is the story of Rawa Majid, also known as the Kurdish fox.
Yeah, man, his face is everywhere on the news and everything, man. So yeah, that's... I mean, we haven't seen like this before over here in Sweden, man. With like a face to put to the name and stuff. That's what makes it crazy in my opinion.
Rawa Majid was born on the 12th of July
Also, this is gonna be a whole like backstory type of thing.
1986 in Iran to Iraqi parents. His parents fled as the Iran-Iraqi feud was getting heated. At just a few months old, Rawa arrived in a city named Uppsala together with his family. Uppsala is a smaller city.
It's always funny to hear people from other countries try to pronounce Swedish places, man.
Arrived in a city named Uppsala together with his family. Uppsala is a smaller city about 70 kilometers from Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. Despite his father slowly disappearing out of the picture, Rawa did well in school as a kid. In secondary school, he excelled in classes that had anything to do with business. After finishing his secondary school, he had his own kiosks in Uppsala where he sold food, phone cards, and gold. However, his career in crime did not start long after. In 2010, he was sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in prison for several drug offences. This included handling coke he imported from the Netherlands. In February 2015, he was allowed early release on parole. He bought his own ice cream parlour in Uppsala, which was a good business move. Not because there were long lines outside the shop, but because he would go on to use it for money laundering. Rawa's
figures.
freedom was short-lived though. Just 3 months after his release, he violated his probation rules and was jailed once more. In 2018, he was released again, but he had to obey strict rules and was forbidden to leave Sweden. However, shortly after finishing his sentence, Rawa's cousin was removed off the playing field, and he realized that he could very well be next. This led to
Oh, so it means he got killed.
the playing
R.I.P. man.
field, and he realized that he could very well be next. This led to Rawa being granted permission to leave Sweden despite being under surveillance and on probation. He was allowed to travel to his parents' birth country, Iraq, and eventually registered himself in the birthplace of his mother named Sulamania. a city in the east of the Kurdistan region of Iraq. It must be said that right from his release, Rawa picked up where he left off and started smuggling and selling narcotics again. It wasn't until 2020 that he had emerged as the top drug smuggler of Sweden after police were able to hack into the encrypted messaging database he used. Prior to this hack, Swedish police were unaware of how big Rawa really was in the Swedish smuggling world. But how did he operate? Well, by now, Rawa Majid is better known as the Kurdish Fox, leader of the Foxtrot gang. The core members of the gang are said to consist of Rawa's family members as well as close friends he has known for years. All combined, those are about 10 people, aged between 25 and 35 years old. The core members can be identified by their golden fox rings and chains they wear. The Foxtrot gang mainly focuses on bringing in large shipments of drugs into Sweden to then sell them on to other gangs. They are also notorious because they do not shy away from using excessive violence. PGP messages have further revealed that at least since 2020, Majid was in total control of the Foxtrot gang and its business.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not gonna talk that much probably because I don't want to make this video too long. And also a lot of this stuff I already know, of course, because it's all over the news and all over media in general.
He was in charge of the couriers that transported the drugs, the foot soldiers, and the people that guarded the stash houses. The hacked PGP messages led Swedish police to intensify their investigations into Rawa. After a year of investigations, they managed to locate him in Iraq. Together with Iraqi police, they set up an operation and raided the house Rawa was supposed to stay in November 2021, but unfortunately for them, he had just fled, and all they found was a bunch of mobile phones. The Fox was gone. It was immediately speculated that Rawa had the right contacts in Iraq, and that he was warned prior to the raid that he had to move. Right after this raid, Rawa relocated to Turkey. It remained quiet around him for just a few months, but then, in March 2022, his name would pop up again, this time in relation to a feud between his Foxtrot gang and the Bandidos, another gang in Sweden. Reason for the feud? 2 large shipments of drugs that were seized by Swedish police on February 11th and 14th. This feud would go on to have serious consequences. Just 2 weeks after the seized shipments, the Bandidos clubhouse was shot at. Nonetheless, this was nothing compared to what was about to come. It would go tit for tat, with some of the most notable actions being that of the 4th of March, where an innocent barber was removed off the playing field. The man drove in his white Mercedes near the Bandidos clubhouse as 17-year-old Peter Hassan Hagi stopped next to him and riddled him with bullets.
So they're showing faces and everything. Crazy.
The man drove in his white Mercedes near the Bandidos clubhouse as 17.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot as well. Like, yeah, first of all, it's always the young boys doing the stuff. And it's a lot of innocent people that get shot as well.
17-year-old Peter Hassan Hagi stopped next to him and riddled him with bullets. Police suspected the victim to be innocent, though they think the hit was aimed at someone of the Bandidos who also drove a white Mercedes. Interesting to note is that the vast majority of those involved in these gang crimes come from migration backgrounds. A report that was made in 2022 claimed that 85% of the suspects involved in the fatal shootings and other attacks were either born outside of Sweden or had at least one foreign-born parent.
Where did they get this? Because the Swedish news would never say this, to be honest. So yeah.
Parents. 2 weeks after.
I'm not saying it's because they're immigrants, it's just the environment where they grow up and all of that stuff, man.
After this hit, Rawa ordered his troops to get ready for new actions against the Bandidos, and so they did. On the 28th of March, a young man can be seen running into a gym and downwards onto the staircase. It's evident that he came with a mission. Let's look at the video.
En styrelse bara till att bestämma saker.
Imagine being the one sitting there, man. He just runs up with a gun pointed. Crazy, man. What the hell was he gonna do in there, man? That's not the exit.
The young man could be seen going downstairs into the gym area. Here is where he struck someone, and you can see bystanders running up the stairs in total panic. Shortly after, the shooter also ran up the stairs again. He even tried to escape through the wrong door before someone guided him in the right direction. His mission? To remove a highly ranked Bandidos member that was also in the gym. The end result? He struck Frederick, a totally innocent man who did not survive. The hitter
Yeah, R.I.P., man.
was just 16 years old when he did it. While all this was happening, Rawa himself remained at bay in Turkey. However, he would get in serious trouble himself too. In April 2022, Ali Eren was doing his job as a gardener in the Turkish city of Marmaris when he came across a pouch that someone had left behind. Upon opening it, Ali found bundles of cash stuffed inside the pouch. Despite making a meager salary as a gardener, Ali did not
People who trade the markets, about 90% of them
Yeah.
one thing.
take this chance to
Where the hell did this come from, though? I've never heard this.
pouch. Despite making a meager salary as a gardener, Ali did not take this chance to pocket the money for himself. No, he decided to inform the police. At the station, they had counted multiple currencies with over $12,000 in total value. After checking the security cameras located near the park, police managed to identify a man called Miran Otaman. They invited Miran to the police station to pick up the pouch, which Miran of course gladly did. He introduced himself as a shipping tycoon and left behind $400 as a reward for Ali. But police had a weird feeling about this Miran Otaman. They decided to run his ID through all their databases and discovered that this was not Miran Otaman. This was an internationally wanted man. A man that had an Interpol red notice out for him.
Oh.
The man who they had in front of them was actually fugitive Rawa Majid, not Miran Otaman. After further investigation, Turkish police raided Rawa's villa, where they found unlicensed weapons, large sums of cash, and luxury items such as designer clothes, watches, and more.
I haven't heard about this stuff in Turkey, to be honest. So yeah. I mean, it's a mad situation. I can't really talk a lot about this because I don't know what's going through your head when you're in that type of business, if you want to call it that.
Sums of cash and luxury items such as designer clothes, watches, and more. He had rented the villa with the same fake passport. During his first questioning, Rawa said that he was surprised that he got caught. I had a very high quality and well-designed fake passport. I never thought I would get arrested when I went to that police station. Was this the end to his story? Was one of Sweden's most wanted criminals finally caught and ready to be extradited? Well, no. Rawa had purchased Turkish citizenship via Turkey's Golden Passport program for approximately $400,000 in 2020. Turkey has become a safe haven for criminals, as they are able to purchase citizenship by investing the aforementioned amount into real estate in the country. Although Sweden, along with Interpol, has requested for his extradition, Turkish authorities have refused to do so for two reasons. Reason number one is his Turkish citizenship, and number two is because Sweden has refused to extradite people to Turkey whom Erdogan identified as terrorists. Rawa's extradition has become a political game. To make matters worse for Swedish authorities, Rawa was released by Turkish police a few weeks after his arrest and is now essentially a free man again. Oh, and after all this, Ali got a reward for his honesty. Keeping the pouch might have been a better option afterwards. In April 20,
He got a reward from that. Well, yeah, damn.
reward for his honesty. Keeping the pouch might have been a better option afterwards. In April 2022, right when Rawa was jailed in Turkey, Swedish police shared an extensive police report about Rawa Majid and his Foxtrot gang with the aim to help Turkish intelligence prosecute Rawa. Information such as their suspected locations, pictures of them and what they are being accused of, and more evidence. It was part of Operation Yilan. The report was labelled highly confidential and was only allowed to be read by certain police officials. Little did they know was that the document was leaked back to Rawa and his associates. Late in 2022, they arrested a suspect of the Bridge Network, another Swedish gang. Upon
That sounds funny. The Bridge Network. Yeah. It's Bronätverket, but yeah, it's... I mean, it is bridge if you translate it, but the area is called Bro. So, yeah, I guess.
further investigation, they found a silver iPhone. After taking a closer look at this iPhone and going through its contents, they found the highly confidential report they had made to help Turkey. Someone had leaked it. Swedish police immediately rang the alarm and called this leak extremely serious. A Swedish official suspects a Turkish government official of leaking the document, though they do not have any concrete evidence yet. After all that turmoil in Turkey, Rawa and his Foxtrot gang found themselves in yet another very heated feud in late 2022. This time it was with Mikael Tenezos and his Darlin gang. Though it must be said that the feud might have already started as early as 2020. Mikael Tenezos is a 25-year-old man, also referred to as the Greek, who, despite his young age, has allegedly managed to become a leader.
Oh, the first day that we signed up for Monday.com,
Yeah.
our process
leading figure of the Darlin gang and also lived abroad for his own safety. Mikael used to be a promising hockey player who slowly but surely strayed away from school and hockey to hang out with his gang. Some of his former hockey teammates were surprised to hear what has become of their former teammates. For me, it's completely unimaginable, one of the team leaders said. Mikael would have made it far if he had stuck to hockey, another leader said. He was a guy who took matters into his own hands and trained very hard. People respected him. It was known that he hung out in the wrong circles even as a youngster, a former teammate said. It was clear that his association with the gangs at an early age led to Mikael moving on from hockey and focus more and more on the gang life. Swedish crime journalists have said that the feud stems from a battle over the supply of narcotics in the city of Sundsvall. The city of Sundsvall was long supplied by the Darlin gang. Rawa Majid's Foxtrot gang has tried to muscle themselves in on the Sundsvall market, which led to the start of the feud, as the Darlin gang was not going to let that happen. However, it should be noted that it is also reported that it was actually the Foxtrot gang that had control over the city of Sundsvall, and that the Darlin gang tried to force its way in. Either way, it had become a battle for turf, and it definitely has not been something we have seen before in Sweden. This feud is truly ruthless. In the first 26 days of this year, there had already been 13 bomb attacks, meaning there was one attack every 2 days. One of the most notable incidents in this feud happened on the 21st of January 2023. A video surfaced that depicted once again how reckless this feud was, as well as how far these foot soldiers went. The video shows an apparent teenager. You can hear their young voices briefly, armed with a Kalashnikov, stand in front of a door as he takes his time to load the firearm. He aims at the door, then unleashes 15 bullets right through the door. The apartment was home.
Yeah, that's mad, man. Especially this part of like filming everything and putting it out there as well, man. Crazy. But yeah, people say it might be to like prove to the boss that you did it or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you can still, you're gonna see it on the news. So, but yeah, man, it's mad still. And all these bomb attacks, like I don't see that like pretty much anywhere else than in Sweden. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Home to the ex-girlfriend of rapper Thrife, who is said to be linked to the Greek. Rapper Thrife, however, was not in the apartment. His ex-girlfriend and her young child were. As somewhat of a wonder, no one got hurt. The attack seemed to be done purely as a scare tactic and was filmed as a sort of trophy, where people used to snatch chains and other personal items of their enemies as trophies back in the day. This younger generation films their actions to show the world their ruthlessness. As if things weren't already bad enough in Sweden, on September 11th, 2023, the feud claimed its youngest victims thus far. The remains of a 13-year-old boy were found in a forest in the Swedish municipality of Haninge.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
After he had been reported missing. The young boy was said to have ties to several gangs, one of which was Rawa's Foxtrot gang. It was another all-time low in the feud, though it must be said the victims being such young boys weren't an exception. Less than 2 months prior to this incident, the remains of Leith al-Azawi and Mohammed Sulaiman were found in the Stockholm region. Both
RIP to them as well, man.
boys were only 14 years old. It was believed that both boys resold weapons they had gotten from the Foxtrot gang. When they weren't able to retrieve the weapons, the leaders of the Foxtrot gang were out to make them an example and had them whacked. On the 12th of September, just a day after they found the 13-year-old boy, another man was found. He was removed off the playing field in the stairwell of a building. A relative of Rawa lived in this building and was most likely the intended target. He was believed to be involved in Rawa's Foxtrot gang as someone who kept money of the gang. While Rawa's Foxtrot gang and Mikael's Dalen gang were fighting in Sundsvall, they simultaneously battled for turf in Umeå, one of the fastest growing cities in Sweden. In the beginning of September 2023, a Dalen gang member struck a Foxtrot gang member. Right after this incident, crime reporter Diamant Salihu said, "They use a lot of violence. Umeå's residents may see a type of violence they have never seen before. If you are a relative of those involved in this feud, you are a direct target."
Yeah, definitely, man. And yeah, the type of violence these last like 4 years, it's never been like that over here. But yeah, I guess. I mean, we kind of see things getting more violent everywhere, it feels like. So, I mean, it's not really that surprising, I guess. And there's always gonna be people selling drugs and fighting over areas to sell drugs and that type of stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna stop it, to be honest.
He went on to say that there are serious reasons to be worried about this escalating situation. A question that might arise for you, and which certainly did for me, was where do they get all these firearms from?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, according to reports by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime, the Rawa's Foxtrot gang, as well as other Swedish criminal gangs, are supplied by Balkan arms smugglers with assault rifles, Serbian pistols, and unused stock of Yugoslav-era hand grenades. Organized crime groups that are mostly located in Serbia set up proxies in Sweden to receive these weapons. The firearms are dismantled into parts and are then sent by road along well-traveled drug routes into Scandinavia, oftentimes across the Öresund Bridge, a 16-kilometer-long bridge that connects Denmark to the Swedish city of Malmö. A third of all illegal handguns in Greater Stockholm are Serbian Zastavas.
Oh, a third? That's a lot, man.
A third of all illegal handguns in Greater Stockholm are Serbian Zastavas. Most weapons are shipped on order. A Kalashnikov often comes with complimentary hand grenades as a sort of gift. Hand grenades bought separately would only cost 100 krona, or about $9 or fewer.
Oh, damn, is that what they pay for a grenade? That is crazy, man.
Than €9. These firearms and grenades then end up in the hands of Rawa's young soldiers and those of his enemies. Besides the many enemies Rawa has made in opposing gangs, trouble was also brewing in Rawa's own Foxtrot gang. In the past few months, his gang wasn't as tight anymore as they used to be. A conflict had arisen within the gang itself, which led to members turning against each other. Ismail Abdo, once a close confidant of Rawa and labelled as his right-hand man, has allegedly turned against him after a drug deal went wrong this summer, according to the police. This plays a major part in why relatives have now become targets of the violence. They are friends who have known each other for many, many years. They know where someone's relatives are. They know each other's weaknesses. Swedish crime report.
If you want to work in a 9-to-5 for the rest of your life, then
Yeah.
Salihu said. The split allegedly resulted in a shooting in Istanbul on the 6th of September. On CCTV footage, it can be seen that two men arrive on a moped. One of them hops off and fires several shots towards 5 people. These 5 people in turn fired back. No one was seriously injured. As immediate revenge for this shooting, the 60-year-old mother of Ismail Abdo was removed off the playing field just a day later.
Rest in peace, man.
Though we have seen a lot of unprecedented lows already, this is a good depiction of how ruthless Rawa and his gang were. Not even someone's mother was safe. Just 4 days later, there was another shooting. This time, it was aimed at Rawa's mother-in-law. A man repeatedly knocked on her door, however, she did not open. After a few minutes, the man shot her apartment and fled. Had she opened that door, she most likely would have not survived. Then, 2 days after that shooting, a man was removed off the playing field. Upon further investigation, it was determined that the man Mogos Emanuel did not have any connection to the conflict and was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Once again, man, rest in peace. There's a lot of innocent people, like I said, that's getting killed, basically. Yeah, just getting killed, man.
The intended target was a family member of Rawa. The split of the Foxtrot gang will most likely change the criminal landscape as new groups will form and new alliances will be made. Police Chef Mats Baki even went as far to say that the Foxtrot gang does not even exist anymore after the split, as well as that Rawa Majid is not as strong anymore as he used to be due to his allies leaving him, being jailed or 6 foot deep. As for now, Swedish police are keeping a very close eye on the situation, hoping to gather valuable intelligence and potentially even use the tumult as an opportunity to sneak in and dismantle entire gangs, or at least arrest key figures. On the 28th of September 2023, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said that he had summoned the head of the military to discuss how the armed forces could help police deal with the unprecedented wave of violence that has the country in a chokehold, with almost daily shootings and bombings.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, I don't know what the military is gonna do that the police can't do. Like, they still have to prevent the things from happening. Like, what's the military gonna do before it's happening? I don't really get that, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know, maybe just the presence of the military is gonna make a difference. I don't know if that's the goal, like, but yeah, man, I guess we'll see.
Bombings. Getting the military involved in crime fighting is something highly unusual. It truly emphasizes how serious the problem in Sweden is. Sweden has never seen anything like this before, Kristersson said in a televised speech to the nation. No other country in Europe is seeing anything like this.
Yeah.
Sweden has grappled with gang violence for years, but the outburst of shootings and bombings in September has been unheard of, and even saw 3 people passing in just 12 hours due to gang violence, with the explosion of a home in Uppsala that took the life of an innocent woman as an absolute low point. Swedish media have linked the latest
Rest in peace to that woman, man.
surge in violence to a feud between Rawa and Abdo, and it seems like Sweden is in no way, shape or form ready to step in and end this violence. Swedish laws aren't designed for gang wars and child soldiers, Kristersson
Yeah, definitely not. Swedish laws are a joke, man.
said. It is also mentioned that part of the reason gun violence continues to rise in Sweden is that those involved in shootings don't care about any repercussions because the conviction rate is so low. In more than 2/3 of the shootings, no one is arrested and only a 1/5 of gang-related gun homicides are solved. So at
Yeah, not just that. Most of them go unsolved. And if you're under, I think if you're under 18, you get a maximum of 4 years in jail. And that's in a youth jail, which in Sweden, like the jails are basically like a dorm in the US, like a student dorm. So yeah, I don't know, man.
At the time of writing this, Sweden is left to battle a problem that only seems to get worse. From the ongoing shootings throughout the country, to Rawa Majid remaining at large and out of the hands of Swedish authorities, to young boys who are waiting in line to work for the gangs. For now, there does not seem to be a solution that would solve all this violence. It is expected that Rawa remains hidden somewhere in Turkey, and that young boys will keep on working for the gangs at the cost of their own future. Many more videos on this topic will follow. This was just the start. If you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave.
Yeah, man. And what's crazy as well is, like, I think last year, I think in Sweden it was like 66 shooting casualties, like people getting killed from shootings. And in the neighboring countries, Norway, Denmark, and Finland, together there was 10. So it's only in Sweden, man. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think of Sweden, man. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, man. And I'm out. Peace.